What up, YouTube? Welcome to episode number 25 of D&D Sports Chat. We'll be going live here in just a moment. Stay tuned. YouTube. Oh, better get the song.
I know
up.
YouTube's getting lots of hits right now with the Olympics going on.
Hell yes. What the hell was that?
Your chair?
Man. All right. Let's go live, huh? What do you say?
I'm ready.
Let's give it a whirl.
I'm excited. Olympic talk.
Yes. Here we go.
Talk show. Recorded live.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode number 25 of D&D Sports Chat, coming to you live from the studio here in Garden City, Michigan. It is Wednesday, August 10th, 2016. I am your host, Derek, alongside my co-host, as always, every week, Mr. Dan Bartley. Dan, what's going on, my man?
It's going good. It's another scorcher here in Garden City.
Yep. Thankfully, we might have some rain on the way, but
I hope so.
I don't think it's going to bring much of a cold front coming through, but this has just been a very, very sweltering week so far, to say the least.
Scorching, but very exciting times. For myself personally, I'm enjoying the Olympics.
Oh, yeah. Baseball heating up.
Baseball's heating up. The Tigers are kind of playing
Streaky.
until 3 o'clock in the morning, which is not exactly pleasant. Especially those West Coast games, when you got to get up early for work, is kind of a hassle.
Oh, it is. That's why, like I said before, I stayed up until the 6th or 7th inning, but little did I know when I woke up, the game went well beyond 2 a.m., and it wasn't the greatest results. Of course, the Tigers losing heartbreaker last night.
So terrible.
Yeah, that would have been a really, really bad game. If you were one of those diehard fans that stayed up last night,
kudos to you.
I commend you if you did and put yourself through all that misery. But
or if you had to get up for work at 6 or 7.
Shame on you if you had to do that. But people like you and I can't exactly enjoy that kind of luxury. But hey. Still a lot of baseball left to play, and we'll get to the Tigers here a little bit later. But how about some good news with you? So you got a job as a bouncer at a strip club?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Bouncer
that's an odd story, isn't it?
That's a shaker-upper right there.
The toy chest or whatever?
The toy chest in Ford Road, Dearborn?
That midget tossing, getting down on some of that midget tossing, huh?
Oh, so you drive by there on occasion.
Oh, I've been there for the midget toss. Oh. I was there not too long ago, actually, with a couple other gentlemen you might know.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think I know
it was overrated, I'll say that, but for the most part, hey, man.
Is that something to witness at least once in your life, though?
Yes.
I think that would be something. I drive by there quite a bit because the lady does live around that area. And for the record, I did get a job, but it wasn't a bouncer there.
Oh, you don't say.
I don't say. But
we're not going to reveal the place of employment that you got, just for privacy reasons and whatnot.
I don't want to get harassed.
It's good that you finally got a job and you're getting
more than
paycheck
what radio stuff.
Yeah, with radio.
It's not exactly this per se, but it'll help me get to there. I'm trying to be as positive as possible with everything I'm doing in life now. I'm trying to take that outlook instead of being a negative Nancy. I'm a pessimistic kind of guy when it comes to sports.
Yes.
Very much a realist, I guess you could say, when it comes to some things. Maybe a little bit too much on some. But with work, I think in our time, and you can disagree all you want, but sometimes it's good to just have that job, no matter what it is, unless, obviously – even if it's McDonald's, I'm not.
Hey, we were all there.
I'm not a guy that, and it's not McDonald's that I'm working at. But
no,
if you do get a job in McDonald's, you start off at $9.50, $10 an hour.
But there's things about. Hell, we were all there at that point of our life. I think Steve, one of our friends, said that before he got a job working for the Tigers grounds crew, he had actually wanted to apply at McDonald's. When you're 15, 16, 17, looking for your first job, I think we all probably consider fast food as our first option until something else better comes along.
But I went the food route as well.
Yeah, luckily I stayed out of the food route. That was not.
Be thankful that you did.
Yeah, I did not want to go that route. I went retail for 4 years, got my feet wet, got my hands dirty. Literally learned a lot about responsibility and customer service, and just all the essentials of hard working. And it definitely pays off. I feel like when you're young, you know, it doesn't matter. You can be young, you can be older, but whenever you decide to you know, get into retail, it's definitely a good stepping stone. It's a good stepping stone to kind of like get your, you know, some of your working essentials going. So, you know,
it's something new every day too.
I recommend
working with customers.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, people are very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Annoying?
Rude, just rude, obnoxious. Mm-hmm. Some people are really sweet, and they're
you're gonna get different kinds. It's all about, you know, how you go about it. You have to have thick skin when you're working in retail. Same with foods, you experienced it. Mm-hmm. I mean, even though you were a cook at the Hut, but I mean, at the same token, you still have to deal with people telling you right from wrong, and hey, the customer, like they say, is always right. You can't disagree with them.
Or so they say.
Yep. All right, so work's good. You got that job.
Yep.
Good. Congratulations. Let's move into our Tiger talk. And the Tigers, before the last couple games, they were great. I mean, this was a team that was 2 games out of first in the division. Luckily, the Indians, as you showed me before the show went live, the Indians are currently losing to the Nationals 7-4. Oh, it was final. Okay, I didn't see that it was final, but that's good. So now we're back to 3 games, and if we win tonight, we can go back to 2.5. So it's doable. It's Verlander versus King Felix, and obviously, Verlander, and I said this last week, is that Verlander right now is top 5 AL pitcher in my book. If we were to get 2 more wins, pitches solid, you know, 7 innings, gives up a run or 2, then he will move up to my top 3. And so far, he won 1, and now he's trying to go for his 13th. And
so
really,
it's going to be a tough one.
It is.
And Verlander's went against some good pitching.
He is, and good hitters. Yeah, good hitters. And with Justin Verlander right now, I feel confident. I can be confident in JV. Kind of like how I'm confident in Michael Fulmer, and it's odd, you know. The other night, Michael Fulmer, you said he was due to get lit up, and he did not. He got out of that shape.
For the train to start derailing.
Not yet.
But he did not have his best stuff.
Went 7 innings.
And I commend him for the fact that he didn't have his best stuff. Went 7 innings. Brad Austin even said it himself. Didn't have his best stuff. Didn't look the best. Was struggling with his control. But that's a very good telltale sign of what he's going to be in the future. That he didn't have his best stuff, and he was still able to get you into the 7th inning. You're not out of the ball game. Gives up a couple of runs, but you're still in the thick of things for that game. So really, Michael Fulmer still doesn't have that start that I keep waiting for Michael Fulmer to have that one really bad start.
3 runs is the most he's given up in a start. He gave up 3 runs in 6 innings about 2 or 3 starts ago. But it's unfortunate because Fulmer, he got the loss that night, so he's down to 9-3. But unfortunately, he has not gotten a win since early June. I think he's gone about 5 starts without a win, and that's unfortunate. And he's not getting run support. I mean, when he goes 6 or 7 innings, gives up 2 runs, but the offense doesn't do much for him, and it's unfortunate. Happened a lot to Anibal Sanchez that year. I think that he won the
Doug Fister.
Doug Fister. He was notorious for pitching great and not having run support. But looking right now with that start by Michael Fulmer, he actually now is leading the American League in earned run average. So he has now played enough games to be recognized. Yes, he is ahead in WAR for pitchers, 4.5. He leads Corey Kluber, 4.5 to 4.2. But he actually leads. Currently, Aaron Sanchez from Toronto has the lowest earned run average. Yes, so Michael Fulmer with a 2.43 ERA is actually the lowest ERA in the American League. So kudos to him.
That's a stat I did not know. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. Mm-hmm. The thing is I think what they're going to judge Fulmer harshly about is yes, he's a rookie, and yes, I think that it's August.
He's obviously not in Cy Young voting.
I think that he has the Rookie of the Year locked up.
Oh yes, no doubt about it.
But as far as Cy Young, I think that's really up in the air right now.
Cy Young, to me, I got my top 5 currently. And my Cy Young top 5 for the American League, and you might be shocked, but I still have Chris Sale, to me, is still at the top of the list. I know he's got 14 wins, 1 less than Rick Porcello, surprisingly, but Rick Porcello comes in number 2. Number 3, I'm going to go with J.A. Happ. Number 4, it was kind of close with this one because, you know, I got Cole Hamels. You know, he's up there, and then I also got Chris Tillman from Baltimore, who's also been red hot. So that's a close one. But I'm gonna go with Cole Hamels as 4th, and then I'm gonna go with Justin Verlander at number 5. So, you know, obviously I lift off guys like another pitcher from Boston. You got Stephen Wright, who's been kind of, you know, wishy-washy. Yeah, he's a knuckleballer though. And then of course you got from Seattle, Hisashi Iwakuma.
Saw him the other night
Right now, I mean, you got a lot. It's a close race. Unlike, the National League where Steven Strasburg, I think, has a pretty good stranglehold on that. But there's guys that are chased him down. But, I mean, really right now, Chris Sale and Rick Porcello are probably my top two. And then, of course, I think if Verlander wins tonight, I will replace Happ with Verlander. I will move Verlander from number 5 to number 3 in my Cy Young voting for the AL. I don't know how you feel about that, but
I can agree with that.
I mean, it's just so weird to say Rick Porcello. And Rick Porcello,
that's not a name that you would say.
And even though he's got 15 wins, Rick Porcello is not in the top 10 in earned run averages this year. He does have a boatload of strikeouts. He has 125 and 151 innings pitched, 15-3 record. That's great.
Porcello still is not striking out a lot of guys.
Yeah,
that was never Rick Porcello's MO.
But that's
ground ball machine.
But for the most part, though, he's actually on line to break his record of 149 strikeouts that was set last year. So his strikeouts went up a little bit. But right now, if he starts probably another 3 games, he will break that record. So, I mean, I see Rick Porcello probably finishing with close to 170, which in his, previous career, 104, 107, 142, 129, 149. So every year it's kind of gone up, but, he is a ground ball pitcher.
It seems like he has really, when he got traded over to Boston,
found his stride.
He has. He seems like he's found it. And Fenway Park is not exactly, I wouldn't say a pitcher-friendly ballpark, but he seems to be getting it done.
And even though his record, last year was pretty bad. He went 9-15, had a low, it was 4.92, almost 5 ERA. He still did okay work. He was a 4th starter for Boston. Now he's pretty much been relegated to he's their ace. He is their ace.
David Price has great stuff.
David Price is their ace maybe on paper,
but he's having is not good.
He's
not having a good year at all.
But unfortunately, it's been a bad year, but he does have the most innings pitched this year. So he's probably going to eclipse 200 innings once again. He's at 155, which leads the American League. But yeah, David Price's numbers, 9-8 with a 434. That's like 4th starter numbers.
That's not what you expect for David
Price.
Not
at all.
If you're Boston, you're a little bit frustrated with David Price.
Yes, because this is a team that is still in playoff contention. That's a guy that you're going to need to step up, and he's proven he's been very good in the postseason. But with David Price,
look at David Price's numbers in the postseason. He's not been good in the postseason
the last few years.
Look at David Price's numbers.
Let's see what we got here.
See if you can pull that up. Now I know I threw that on you.
The last 2 years, obviously, he didn't pitch well with the Tigers, he only had 2 starts, or actually 1 start. He was only able to make 1 start because, of course, we had Baltimore that year.
Unfortunately, the Tigers had a quick exit.
Yeah. 2008 had a 2.70 ERA, 2010 4.50, 2011 4.05, 2013 1 start, he had 9 ERA. So not a lot of starts in the postseason. He's had a lot of years, but not a lot of starts. But unfortunately, he's played for teams that have not gotten out of the ALDS. That's the thing. His real test was probably last year with Toronto. And it wasn't the greatest of years.
He was not very good with Toronto in the postseason.
Gave up 8 earned runs in 13 innings.
The Rays, he wasn't really that really strong. And he came out of the pen.
Do you think he's going to be one of those guys, though, that kind of goes into the postseason, even though he has a very, very mediocre regular season record? Do you think he can turn around the postseason?
I think he can.
With a team like Boston, if they give him enough run support, just to be able to go 6 or 7 innings and give up 3 runs, that can be doable. You can win with that.
With Boston's offense, and it seems like they have the killer bees is what I'm just calling them right now, Bogarts and Betts. But
Bogarts, I know personally, is starting to slow down a little bit. It's worrying me.
They might be, but Boston has so many other guys that can contribute offensively. So there's that. And you got David Ortiz, who's playing out of his mind, a guy that's retiring, and he's having just a huge season.
He could play another year if he wanted to.
I'm pretty sure he's going to hang it up.
Oh, he will. He will.
The Tigers, getting back on the Tigers, the biggest concern for me right now is not Justin Verlander's start tonight. It's the bullpen.
The bullpen.
It's the fact that Francisco Rodriguez has an ERA of 9
in 3 starts, the last 3 outings,
and he's not looked good.
No,
he has not.
He's luckily not blown a save in those 3 outings, but he is.
Blew one last night.
Well, last year, last night was a blown save, but it's only his 4th blown save, I believe, of the year.
But the thing is the month of August.
This is not the time to be. Yeah, you want to be peaking right now. Really, I would have gladly given up some of these hiccups, replaced them in the beginning of the season to switch what his hotness was before these last 3 outings, because. This is the guy that's been
magnified right now.
Yeah, this is the guy that's been slowly, very, very quiet all year. There has not been one negative comment about K-Rod all year long. Yeah, everybody was against him the very first game of the season, first game blown save. But since then, my God, he was lights out. He's still, I think, 3rd in the American League in saves. But for me, I mean, this is, and I said this to Steve and Chris this morning, is that I'm worried about K-Rod because
it is a cause for concern.
Yeah.
I don't think this is just a glimpse of him just kind of having a rough month.
I mean,
I think that the fact is that K-Rod he's got a lot of innings on that arm.
Oh yeah.
His stuff
They're
is
asking a lot
not
of
what it's used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's still decent stuff, but he doesn't have that lights out pitch. He's got a lot of innings on that arm, and I think he's going through that spell right now. And I think that he's run out of innings.
Mm-hmm.
He's logged a lot of innings, and I think that could be a huge factor. I don't know, with the Tigers right now.
Well,
the starters are not able to go that deep into games. And then here's another big question. Michael Fulmer, they're going to want to watch him. So he's not going to go.
You don't want to shut him down before the playoffs.
You're not going to shut him down.
No.
But you're also going to
Watching
be really close. When he gets up to about 90 pitches, you're going to see someone up.
Mm-hmm.
Verlander has that kind of cocky attitude.
Well, Verlander has that seniority where he can actually tell Ausmus to go sit back down. I got this. And we've seen this out of Verlander for years. Justin Verlander is probably the only pitcher on the roster that can actually go 8 innings and pitch 120 pitches. And
this is Justin Verlander.
I know he's got an awesome arsenal, but yeah, I mean, I am worried about guys like Fulmer. Another guy I'm worried about other than K-Rod is Shane Green. We saw last night, if you were watching the game all the way to the end, he was not available, and people were probably wondering, well, what's the deal with Shane Green? Because he's kind of been like that either setup guy or he's been a guy that's been in long relief, and he actually hasn't pitched since Saturday. He's been dealing with a posterior oblique injury. So he
hurt his butt.
Of course, you would reveal that if you're Brad Ausmus after your team just lost their 3rd straight game.
So he hurt his butt.
Yes. His oblique is hurting. He strained his butt cheek. And,
my goodness.
So Ausmus said that before tonight's game, he'd prefer not to use him in the final game of the series against the Mariners. He's kind of doing a day-to-day evaluation.
That long flight to Seattle hurt him?
Yeah, I guess so. Asked about the injury, Green said it's been bothering him for a while. It's not that big of a deal, just going to take a couple days off and go from there. So it doesn't seem like it's too cause for concern-ish, but this is a guy that's been pitching really, really well. He's the shining spot. And even up until last night, I mean, I kind of felt bad for old Justin Wilson because this is a guy that's been pitching decent. Guys that have not been pitching good have been the guys, what's his name? Kyle Ryan. I mean, Kyle Ryan has just been absolutely horrible for this team. But Daniel Norris, let's talk about Daniel Norris because this is a guy that we were talking about, could have been trade bait at the trade deadline, him along with Boyd. And Daniel Norris pitched great. I think he only gave up that one home run. I think he went like 6 innings or 7 last night. And it was a good outing. And, I mean, you're not going against a rollover team. I mean, the Mariners are still in the playoff race. And, you know, they got a solid offense between Sager and Cano. I mean, they were striking these guys out. And Cruz as well, who's a Tiger killer from the past. So I was very, very impressed. Yeah, I was impressed with Daniel Norris' start. And, you know, with Jordan Zimmerman back on the DL, obviously this is going to have to be make it or break it for Norris because you're not probably going to get sent back down. September call-ups are coming up here in a couple weeks. You're probably going to see Joe Jimenez get called up. That's a guy I think that we probably want to see.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, when you got a struggling bullpen, this could be your savior. I'm not saying it's going to save your entire season, but he couldn't hurt. He can't hurt this bullpen. It can't get any worse, but.
Encouraging sign on the bullpen. I know we've been really down on this guy in recent weeks, but Mark Lowe, he's been pretty good.
Yeah, he has.
Now, I'm not going to go all in and say Mark Lowe is the new setup.
Well, just a week or so ago, we were dogging the hell out of him. We're saying go back to Double-A for this guy. But
he has, in his last couple outings, he has looked good. He's got a lot of life on his fastball. He looks like he's more confident. He's throwing with more just conviction.
Yeah.
And I like to see that out of a reliever, but I don't know if he's back. I don't want to ever say that he.
The thing is about Mark Lowe is that you look at his
ERA.
His ERA.
Awful.
You look at his paper. His ERA is well over 8. But I mean, just looking right now, even just the month of August. I mean, really, he's given up two runs. He pitched. He's only pitched 4 2/3 innings, and he's given up 2 earned runs. But I mean, still, he's gotten his ERA actually. It's gone from 8.57 down to 7.78. So after last night's game, he actually did bring it down under 8. So it's 7.78. He actually went 2 innings last night. They needed that out of him, and he actually went 2 and struck out 3. So last night was probably his best outing in a very long time. Mm-hmm. But I like what I've seen out of Mark Lowe. But Kyle Ryan's a guy that has obviously got to really step up. And with Shane Green,
where's Blaine Hardy?
And Blaine Hardy is over in AAA.
Now that's a guy.
No, he will get called up. I'm assuming.
I do not have his numbers in front of me, but
I will do that for you.
But you got that on record.
Are you looking for this year's numbers for with the Tigers?
Yes. No.
Because he only played 14 games.
Now I don't know why he is not up here with the bullpen struggling. Is what it is, and he's a guy that could be a lefty specialist.
Veteran leadership in the bullpen.
He's that guy that the way this bullpen is right now, it's kind of I don't know if it's really in shambles, if it's just overused. What it might be, but I know that bullpen tonight is absolutely taxed. Justin Verlander needs to go 7-8 good innings tonight, and I believe that he does. I believe you go out there tonight if you're Brad Ausmus, and you let him throw 120, 25 pitches, or unless he gets shelled, which I don't think he will.
So you're shocked that Blaine Hardy isn't getting called up. You're going to be shocked when you see his numbers.
His numbers aren't very fantastic, are they?
30 games, 2 started, 30 innings pitched, only 7 earned runs. No home runs allowed, 22 strikeouts, and the ERA of 2.06. Why is he not here? I mean, it's the minors, don't get me wrong, but in his 30 games he's played out of the bullpen, he's been pretty good. And this is a guy that we will see come September. I'm pretty sure we will.
Jimenez, Moya, Hardy.
Yeah, Moya we will unfortunately have to see off the bench again, but we need to see him because the injuries that we have just sustained over the last couple of days.
Cameron Glass Maybin can't seem to stay
You know what?
healthy.
And I said this. The guy's a spark plug. Don't get me wrong. Cameron Maybin has provided a spark. He's still batting in the 315, 320 range. Not a power hitter by any means, but great outfielder. And he's got a solid arm on him. But the guy gets a damn blister and he's done. I mean, what was it? Something wrong with his pinky or his thumb or something?
He's got something wrong with his thumb.
Dude, tape that shit up and get your ass out there. You know, this is I don't give a damn, dude. Baseball, there's been guys that have played with like freaking sprained ankles and, you know, their thumbs have been jacked up. I mean, come on, dude.
Miguel Cabrera, how his ankles felt
yeah, you know, and even Victor Martinez playing, you got to play through the pain, dude. You're getting paid to be a professional baseball player. You got to get your ass out there. We're getting towards crunch time. Now, if this would have happened back in, May, June, I would have said, okay, come back, when you're ready to go. But we're getting towards the end of August here, and it's time to, like, make or break your shit. So, Cameron Maybin, suck it up.
Make or break your shit.
Yeah, it's like.
My Lanta.
It definitely, and that's the truth. I mean, if I'm Cameron Maybin, dude, I'm playing through the pain.
But want to know why other people aren't saying this?
Why?
I can tell you. And I'm not going to be one of those 97 to take it guys, but I'll tell you why you're wrong. Because Tyler Collins has emerged to be this godsend that's come, and he's starting to hit.
To be
he's
fair,
playing outfield well.
To be fair, Tyler Collins has been a solid backup off the bench. I mean, he's kind of being like that Don the Stick Kelly, I mean, he's doing what he has to do. He's actually hit pretty well. He is a lefty. That's good, and he's definitely reemerged and he's redeemed himself since the whole flipping the bird incident. And so the fans, I think, are starting to kind of welcome him back with open arms.
He apologized.
Yeah, he felt bad. He got humbled by it, but at the same time, I think he's playing better baseball. Another guy's playing better baseball has been Brian McCann as of late. He's been playing better ball. He's got power. The thing about McCann is that he's a guy that can hit. If he's healthy and he's really on his game, he can hit you 15 home runs, and that's a lot of home runs for a catcher. That's like Buster Posey, numbers. So he's a guy that he doesn't have to hit 209 or 210 what he's hitting right now. He can hit you in the 250s easily. And, obviously he got himself in a big hole early in the season, struck out left and right, but right now in his last 20 games, he's batting 286. So he's definitely improving, and he's playing more to the caliber we saw late last year.
He can't hit lefties.
That's his weakness.
That's his big problem.
It is.
So, there's Jared Saltimacchia that I believe is a switch hitter, which he plays huge dividends to the Tigers when
I think he's been our biggest clutch hitter of the year. I mean, Salty's hit, 10, 11 home runs this year. I think like 9 of them have been, meaningful. I think he's got like 2 or 3 walk-offs. Oh, hell yes. Yeah, so Salty's a guy that, he is
very good backup.
And that was a great signing to get him for cheap. And I mean, we only signed him for a 1-year deal, right? So I mean,
and I would be shocked if he's not back with the Tigers
we'll re-sign him. He's going to be your backup to McCann again.
Bring back?
Please. Another guy that we, haven't talked about yet who just went down with an injury is Nick Castellanos. And this is a guy who, with Castellanos, he was already starting to tail off a little bit. He was starting to tail off. His numbers were down. His average was 286. His last 20 games, he's only batted 201. So that's another guy I think that, his loss.
McGee is a veteran presence.
Yes.
I think is an upgrade defensively.
Yeah.
And clearly Brad Ausmus agrees with me because every time Nick Castellanos is in the game, and 7th inning rolls around, Tigers are ahead. Andrew Romine's at third base.
I'm not too worried about
Castellanos. The confidence
Castellanos.
is not there for Castellanos at third base.
I mean, he obviously got to a great start. I mean, and still, if he were to end the season right now at 18 home runs, 58 RBIs, and batting 286, that's a pretty good year. But I think that he got a lot of that out of the way early, and tailing off is not the right direction in the middle of August. So, you know, if he's and he's only going to be, I think, on the DL for a couple weeks maybe. I don't think he'll be out.
He's got a good month.
Is it a month?
He's probably not coming back until probably mid-September.
Okay, well, I mean, he'll be back on this team.
And then he's going to come back, and
hopefully we won't be out. Yeah, hopefully we won't be on the playoffs.
Rehab stint, and you don't know what you're going to get out of him.
If we make the playoffs, he will be back. So,
yes.
But it is a fracture, and unfortunately, he got hit with a pitch. So that's one of the injuries that you just hate to see when it actually is not of your own doing. But that's the deal there. So that's kind of like where we are with the Tigers. And tonight is a very, very meaningful game.
Versus King Felix.
Like we said,
be a big pitcher showdown.
It is.
You can stay up this late and watch it. 10-10 start.
What are you going to go with in this game? Do the Tigers avoid getting swept?
No, they get swept. And then all the haters are going to go off the bandwagon.
Well, this is a time where now you know Cleveland lost. Cleveland obviously played before you.
The King's Court is open for business.
Cleveland getting their loss today against, Washington. I think that now going into this game, it makes it a whole lot meaningful because you do not want to go down 3.5. You want to stay in that 2.5 game range, and I think the Tigers will win tonight. I think it'll be a low-scoring game when you got Felix and Verlander, but I think it's going to be 4-2 Tigers.
Something I want to point out before we close the baseball seg.
Yes.
Tonight, if you do watch this game with Felix Hernandez on the mound for the Mariners, check out King's Court. I'm not sure where it is in the ballpark, but that is just a phenomenal thing that the fans in Seattle do for King Felix, how he's emerged to be that status. All of them are wearing Kings hats, and they got Ks. I think that's just a phenomenal thing that Mariners fans put together.
Why don't we talk about something that Seattle fans do that's pretty gross? That we saw on Monday. We did not know about this. Danny and I happened to be hanging out Monday night watching this game in the beginning of it, and John Keating took us through this little tunnel area. It's actually outside the stadium. It's actually outside the stadium, but we're talking hundreds of thousands.
This is realistic.
This is real, and it's probably you do not want to be eating food while walking under this bridge or tunnel or wall, whatever the hell it is. But fans in Seattle outside the stadium actually walk by and stick their chewed gum on this wall. And we're talking, I mean, it's very colorful, but not in the very amusing or attractive sense. It is, to me, it's gross. If fans in Detroit did this, I know we'd get heat for it and get made fun of, but this is very disgusting.
And this is not like celebrities. It's not like Ken Griffey Jr.
No, these are just random people.
Here's my bubble.
I mean, and then there's a poor unfortunate soul that has to actually scrape this wall clean at the end of the baseball year. And, I mean, you got all this damn chewed gum with God knows how many germs and diseases on this wall. So that's gross. I think that is absolutely embarrassing to the city of Seattle to let that happen.
It's
but
absolutely just
it is what it is.
Disgusting.
So that's that.
It's not something, and if I was Seattle, I would not want to be known for.
You would not want to be known for something like that. I
kind of want to go to Seattle just to witness that and look and walk by that and just cringe and just oh, goodness.
So, concluding with the baseball segment, moving on to something that has been kind of captivating the minds of all the entire world over the last few days, the Summer Olympics in Rio. And more importantly, the person that has been the star of this entire show, Michael Phelps. If you guys watch...
Katie Lochtey's been good.
Yeah, Katie Lochtey's been good, but the sport of swimming has been taking over the entire Olympics for at least the American side. And Michael Phelps getting his record-breaking 21st gold medal. Not his 21st medal. He was already the most decorated Olympian coming into these games, but 21 gold medals in just a matter of 3 Olympic games. Unbelievable. Shattering the records of guys like, Carl Lewis, I think, who only has 9. But, I mean, Michael Phelps, just amazing. If you guys watched last night, obviously he did the 200-meter butterfly, the freestyle relay.
The was priceless. Great job. Oh, that was great.
I think, we were there too watching it live, and we saw this happening. I mean, this guy that plays for, participates, thinking about sports here, that participates for the South African team, basically, he's shadowboxing.
And he beat Michael Phelps 4 years ago.
Yes, 4 years ago in the last Olympics, he actually beat Phelps out for the gold. Phelps got the silver. This guy got the gold. And there was a warm-up area. The NBC live feed got this on live video footage, and Phelps is just sitting there in a folding chair up against the wall. He's got his tunes in his ear. He's got, his hood up, kind of just sitting there, just being very still. And then his opponent is just sitting there or standing there, and he's shadow boxing, jumping all over the place, and Phelps is like literally giving him this like
death glare.
I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna effing kill you stare. I mean, it broke the internet, memes everywhere. I mean, it was absolutely hilarious. And I mean, I wish, I could play the clip, but I mean, really, you're not getting the full image.
No, you won't. Check it out. I did share it on the Facebook page.
Yes, it was on our Facebook page. Check it out. It's hilarious. And the way that the internet responded to this was, you knew it was coming. So, but yeah, Michael Phelps though last night just dominating, obviously the 200-meter butterfly. And then, of course, you got Katie Ledecky, who's just been amazing as well. They've been the male and female shining stars for Team USA on the swimming side. So really,
do you have the current medal count by chance?
I think I know USA was leading over, I think China. I want to say they had like a 6 or 7 medal lead, but the medal count, let me take a look.
No, I was watching diving as well.
Diving's good.
The Chinese won the diving.
Okay, so the medal count, real quick, is 29-21 USA over China. They have they're leading everything: 10 gold, 10 silver, 9 bronze. China has 9 gold, 4 silver, and 8 bronze. So the USA more than likely. I mean, they're going to have like over 100 medals by the time this is over. We got a whole other week, I think, left of this. So it's really up there. You got China, Japan 3rd, Hungary 4th, Russia 5th. Surprisingly, Canada is not even in the top 10. Your top 10 is Russia 5th, South Korea 6th, Australia 7th, Italy 8th, Great Britain 9th, and France 10th. Canada, just for those that are wondering, my God, Canada is actually 33rd. They've only won 5. Canada's not won a gold medal.
That's got to be disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, if this was the Winter Olympics, Canada's usually up there all the time. Canada usually is in the top 3 or 5 in the Winter Olympics, but some are not so much in Canada, but they got no golds, 1 silver, and 4 bronze.
That must be disappointing.
Obviously, and there's countries that have no medals. I mean, you got Afghanistan with no medals.
Right, yeah.
I mean, Belize, Armenia, there's a lot of countries with no gold medals, so.
I'd like to see at least every country get something.
It's virtually impossible. Like there's like 1,000 countries in this Olympics, and only 44 of them have gotten or have gotten a medal. So
the thing is you go over to Rio and you work your butt off to get there. Now, I feel for the guy that broke his leg.
Yes.
And it was a very vicious, just hard to watch injury. And I feel for that guy because he trained for years. These
4 years.
These men and women.
Can you imagine?
These men and women have trained.
And it was like the second day of the games.
Days and years.
Yes.
To compete. And it's cut short by just catastrophic injury. And it's just such a shame. And it makes you kind of depressed. You're like, wow.
Oh, no doubt about it.
It's like now he's done.
It don't matter what country you play for. Anytime you break a bone or something like that, serious, and that's gruesome.
Of course, I'm root for USA, but I don't want to see
my first instinct, of course, us being wrestling fans, was the Psycho Sid leg breaking back in '96. Yeah. That was really. I mean, some people, wrestling fans, were saying, "No, Psycho Sid still did it better." But yeah, you could hear that crack. Better. You could hear that crack on live TV. Just squeamish.
Painful.
But of course, going back to Phelps, as we mentioned, he won the 200-meter butterfly. The U.S. team took gold in the 200-meter freestyle relay. Katie Ledecky claimed her second title of the games. So, I mean, really, and also Michael Phelps, who is also the oldest individual gold medalist in the Olympic swimming history at 31 years old. So he's actually been doing this since, I believe, 2000, I think, was his very first official games. That was his first medal he ever won, was back in 2000. But, of course, you had 2004, which was it Torino? Yeah, Torino was 04. And then 2008, which was, because I know London was 2000. Yeah, London was 12. 08 was
Beijing.
Was it Beijing? I believe it was. Beijing was 08. So, yeah, I mean, Michael Phelps, who's been going at it, ever since 2000.
I believe he's announced that he's done after this.
Oh yeah, there's no way. He'll be
31.
He'll be 34, 35 in the next one. Sydney, Australia was in 2000.
Oh, okay.
And Phelps was in that one. So,
maybe Ryan Lochte will be the next Michael Phelps.
Ryan Lochte, who, if I remember correctly, in London, Ryan Lochte was the one that was stealing some of Phelps' thunder. Phelps was not near as dominant last Olympics. I feel like he had to go through a lot more hard work and train over these past 4 years.
He went through a lot of
Ryan Lochte won't be back either. He's 32, so he's a year older than Phelps. Ryan Lochte actually was, he was actually better than the last Olympics. He beat Phelps a lot last time. So
no, I know that you, for one, have told me this. You're not as interested in the Olympics as maybe some.
I'm a Winter Olympics guy. I think because my favorite, obviously,
hockey, right?
I like hockey. I love snowboarding. I like luge racing. I'm more into the Winter Olympic games, but but for summer, I would say, like Justin said, swimming's probably my favorite.
No, I'm waiting for you to say two different answers.
Yes.
The male answer and then the professional answer.
The male answer, swimming.
Really?
The female answer, beach volleyball.
There you go. I was waiting for that. Okay.
Beach volleyball, and I watched it. It was on the other night. And just constantly watching these gorgeous female athletes pull their bikinis out of their asses is a sight to see, folks. If you've not stayed up to watch some of the women's beach volleyball, because the men, I'm not going to watch the men in Speedos play on the beach.
That's the ladies.
But you also have two different volleyballs, because you have men's and they play in like a gym inside, and then the women play on the beach. So it's a sight to see. I mean, I can't believe they get away with this. I mean, they are literally like half naked. I would say that they're about.
We'll start with the men.
They're like 80%.
The ladies get something to look at too.
Oh my God! But these spaghetti string tops. I mean, God, I got to Google search women's beach volleyball because it is just amazing.
There's some very talented athletes too.
Yes, and the booties on these girls. Good Lord.
Oh, here we go. But there's a lot of talent with Team USA for volleyball. It's not just all about the looks, and I know.
Oh, I know. But they're good though. They got a good team. They beat Switzerland. It's actually in progress. USA is beating Switzerland right now, 1-0. Mm-hmm. So that's going on right now.
But yes, I know we're all males, but to counter that, if you're a woman, obviously you're going to enjoy watching men's swimming or something in that such, because let's face the facts, those Speedos are awful tight.
Yeah, they are.
And these guys.
Same with the swimmers. There's actually been instances where I've also seen online when the little information bar on your TV screen comes up, and it seems to happen. It blocks where their Speedo line is, so it looks like they're butt ass naked. It's pretty entertaining to watch. I mean, they've been making, just like the Michael Phelps angry face. They've been doing a lot of internet memes about, the placement of the information bar on TV that NBC has done. So that's been pretty funny to see. So. But yeah, I mean, the Olympics, we got a whole other week left of them. USA's going to probably continue to dominate. Swimming's going to be pretty much done, I think, by this weekend, right? I mean, they kind of do, all go in different days.
I'm sure I'm not sure what's to come. I know that there was a basketball game on earlier before I headed on to the studio here. I believe it was Canada. I don't believe it was the Americans. I believe the Americans are just crushing everybody. Men's basketball.
Yeah, basketball, I think.
And they don't even have the top talent.
No, they don't.
They do have third string talent.
They have Andre Drummond from the Pistons, so at least we have some local pride, representing Detroit. But yeah, right now, men's basketball. Matter of fact, now that you say that, I believe I saw them. They were actually, I think, losing at halftime, and they were losing by 15 points.
Men's basketball?
Yes, I forgot who they were playing.
Kind of steamrolling.
They were. Let me see here. Oh yeah, Australia. Okay, so they beat Australia 98-88. I could have swore I saw where they were down at halftime.
They might have just been taking it a little easy on them.
But They only won by 10. I mean, they've been beating guys by over 20 points, but they had to come back against Australia. So they beat Australia 98-88. So they came from behind to win that one. Because by the way they say it, USA survives Australia. But
that wasn't a very convincing win by any stretch of the
imagination. I think right now for basketball, I mean, you got Argentina, and we know how good Argentina is. Lithuania, I think those are going to be, because good thing the USA is in Group A, because Group B, obviously Argentina, Lithuania, they're the 2-0 teams. USA right now is currently the only 3-0 team. But this is the preliminary round. They still got a couple more rounds to go. Let's see, their next game. Let me just take a look here. So today's Wednesday. They beat Australia. Let's see. So yeah, they play Friday against Serbia, and Serbia right now is 1-2. So that should be another pretty easy win. And then of course they win that one. Yeah. So these are all preliminary rounds. The quarterfinals don't even start until next Wednesday. So right now the gold medal game. The gold medal game is actually not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday will be the gold medal game.
The Olympics. You still got a lot of. If you're an Olympic watcher, which I'm not a huge one. I'm not going to sit down and watch it for 6-7 hours a day. Right. Some people will, and to each their own. If you do that, that's great. But I'm not a big guy that wants to watch the Olympics all day. But there are some events that I do enjoy more than others. Right. And no, it's not the women's beach volleyball. But there are, I did want to watch the archery and the shooting. I think that would be really neat. I know that was an American woman won the first gold shooting. So that was pretty neat.
That was what they were making a big deal. The very first medal, the
Second Amendment,
the first medal that the USA won was in a shooting contest. So that, of course, with the way that armed
politics
weapons,
are going right
everything
now,
that was the last thing that you wanted the internet to explode about. So.
Oh goodness, yeah.
So, anything else about the Olympics that we want to cover? Obviously, continue to watch.
I'm looking forward to things heating up and medals being awarded, and just continuing to watch. It's kind of cool.
Swimming's kind of toning down a little bit.
Going on until midnight.
Yeah,
that's neat.
And the fact that Rio is only an hour behind us, I believe that's it.
I believe that's
crazy to think that Brazil, is that close. I was thinking maybe they were at least 3-4 hours back.
I think so. But.
That is different. So, some pretty sad news today that I read about. I mean, this was really a shocker. It's not it doesn't seem like it was that long ago that we lost Stuart Scott. It happened last year, early in 2015. But a guy that really I did not expect to go, John Saunders, who's been a longtime ESPN on-air face of ESPN for about 30 years, passed away today at the age of 61. So far, no cause of death has been announced. You can right away kind of assume it was a heart attack or something along them lines, but he wasn't battling cancer of any kind that we knew about. But and what's really crazy is that who's that female ESPN?
Linda Cohn.
Was it Linda Cohn? Who announced the death? Because she announced Stuart Scott's death almost like the exact same way. I don't know if it's Linda Cohn, but do you ever watch ESPN a lot? Like
The E is not something that I watch regularly anymore. That used to be something when I was growing up in high school that I had to just tune in every morning.
Yeah, 7 a.m. You got up, you got your bowl of cereal.
All day until part of the interruption.
But now, because this was before MLB Network came about. I mean, really, our only source in high school, or even back when we were kids, was ESPN.
And obviously, phones were a thing, but we didn't exactly have the Score app.
But when it comes to breaking news, I feel like ESPN still can't compete with Twitter. I feel like there's beat writers, there's inside story guys
they
beat ESPN by a good 10-15 minutes to the top stories.
ESPN focuses a lot on big name players.
I guarantee you that ESPN probably wasn't even the first one to break the John Saunders death, but it was Hannah Storm.
Okay.
She was the one that announced the death on SportsCenter.
I did not hear.
And she was pretty emotional. I mean, it was definitely a very sad story. I mean, this is a little bit of the audio.
Welcome back to Rio. I have some shocking and sad news to report to you. Our generous and talented and beloved colleague John Saunders has died. John is one of the most familiar on-air faces at ESPN. You know him. He has been at ESPN for nearly 30 years. Covering college football, basketball, the NHL, in addition, of course, to co-hosting this program, SportsCenter, and most recently a fixture on the Sports Reporters. Born in Canada, Saunders was an all-star defenseman in the junior hockey leagues in Montreal before becoming one of the most prominent broadcasters of our day. Also a founding board member of the Jimmy V Foundation, such a critical part of John's legacy and the difference that he has made in this world, all the work that he has done for cancer research, and that foundation named for his longtime college basketball partner. John Saunders was 61 years old. John Skipper, the president of ESPN, co-chairman of the Disney Media Networks, has issued this statement, and I quote, John was an extraordinary talent, and his friendly, informative style has been a warm welcome to sports fans for decades. His wide range of accomplishments across numerous sports and championship events is among the most impressive this industry has ever seen. More importantly, John was a beloved and devoted family man who cared deeply about people and causes, as evidenced by his long-standing efforts as a passionate board member for the V Foundation for Cancer Research.
So that was really something.
Very heartfelt.
Very heartfelt. I mean, he was like an ambassador for ESPN. I mean, really, the name might not sound familiar to people, but you saw this guy on everything. The face.
If you're in our industry, and what I'm talking about is broadcasting, talk show host, whatever.
Sports, yeah.
You know who he is. Mm-hmm. And the fact is when you go to broadcasting school, which I did, you get that booklet of things, do's and don'ts of broadcasting, radio, on TV, whatever you're going for. He's in that book.
Oh, yeah.
And he is someone, his picture's right there, and he's got a quote. I still remember seeing his picture, and you even got guys like Howard Stern, and you got Linda Cohn, and you even have late great
Big
Stuart
names,
Scott.
yeah. I was going to say Stuart Scott probably in there
there's
too.
a lot of people, how they made it through the ranks of broadcasting, and he's one of those guys who I do recall the coverage of hockey.
Yeah.
It's been so long
him
now.
Him and Barry Melrose.
Him and Barry Melrose. I do remember that he was really, really good with hockey, and I could tell that he had a hockey background. Now, ESPN, I don't know when they're covering hockey again. I know they're covering actually the hockey. What is it?
I wish they did. I wish they would drop NBC Sports Network.
They're going to take hockey back up.
They have to.
I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year, but I know that they're going to start picking up some games.
It's too bad they can't get Gary Thorne and Bill Clement back, but if it,
you got to get Doc Emmerich back.
Oh yeah, well Doc Emmerich, I don't know about that because he's employed by NBC Sports, so that's the only thing really that I like about NBC Sports Network is that Doc Emmerich is the lead announcer on there. I mean, if I'm not watching a Red Wing game on FSD,
it's painful sometimes to watch ESPN, and they're very short. Supply of hockey is usually Barry Melrose.
And I think they do it on purpose.
It's usually Stanley Cup playoffs, and it's usually all about Ovechkin, it's all about Crosby.
Barry Melrose is the only guy that's on there. He doesn't work, I don't think, directly for ESPN, but whenever they do like a Sports Center topic on hockey, you can tell that they milk it very, very well because I feel like some things ended ugly and abruptly when they had the lockout because that was the last year. 2004 was the last year, the Stanley Cup final in 2004. I believe it was Calgary and Tampa Bay, and that was the last year that ESPN covered NHL hockey, and I think that was like a really ugly breakup.
Now, to my take, Walt from In the Box, Mondays at 8, if you want to catch that show, but he told me that ESPN is picking up the World Cup of Hockey coming up in September, October. So that's I'm not sure if that's a fact, but Walt's a pretty good source, so I'm going to go ahead and say that ESPN is picking up the World Cup of Hockey, so that's a start.
The World Cup, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be a nice little ESPN picking up hockey to see how it goes, see how ratings are. But the thing is you got to put it on TV at a good time, and it's probably going to be really, really garbage hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be prime time.
Probably like 10, 11 o'clock at night, or replays. You can replay it during the day too, but. I mean, I would do anything to bring. I mean, ESPN. It just feels like there's an emptiness there. You cover football, basketball, baseball, and you don't cover hockey. These are your 4 top sports.
No, I don't really even consider ESPN to cover hockey, hardly at all.
Back in the day,
I still past years I couldn't tell you. I don't even watch ESPN much anymore, but when I do,
well, obviously because
it's the Mike Trout, LeBron James, Tom Brady. It's too commercialized.
It's the marketing.
It's painful.
It's directed at your top. I mean, when Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown, they had a lot of Miguel Cabrera coverage back in 2012. I remember that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, they have their favorites. They have their babies, and LeBron James is up there. Kobe Bryant, Mike Trout. They love Mike Trout. I think they were probably rooting against.
Well, they are based out of L.A.
Yeah, they are. But I'm not talking about current. I'm talking about if the NHL would have never have reached that agreement with. Versus, which is now NBC Sports Network, because before the 04-05 lockout, ESPN was slated to cover that year, and then they were gonna breach the contract, and then they were gonna do NBC. But back in those days, Gary Thorne, Bill Clement were the standing 2 guys that were like the ones that, I mean, they brought an energy, an excitement, they brought a personality to the game of hockey, and I love the 2 of them. And to this day, I mean, of course, if you're local, we got Mickey Redmond and Ken Daniels, but I mean, really, I would look forward more to hearing them 2 call the game.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. The fact that
they were impartial, they were exciting. It didn't matter if you were playing.
Ken Daniels and Mickey Redmond gives me.
They're homers. They're homers.
Sorry,
I like them. I like Mickey Redmond and I like Ken Daniels, but they are extreme homers. Same can go for Mario and Rod. Same thing.
Any home
I mean, come on, dude. I mean, when you're broadcasting for your home,
you gotta have perspective for the other squad. As well.
You got to be impartial. You got to be unbiased at times, but at the same time, ESPN they had that energy. But I agree with you now. If ESPN were to jump back in with the way that today's world is, social media. I mean, God, it's been almost 10 years since ESPN covered hockey. you're not going to have probably Bill Clement. You're not going to have Gary Thorne. You're not going to have probably even Barry Melrose, which I couldn't stand him.
He'd be something on side.
Yeah, but he does, I think, do, like when they do hockey reports, which are like usually a minute or two long, they cover the games very, very briefly. But like I said, I think
Ovechkin scored 40 today.
Yeah, they're all about Ovechkin, and they're all about the big names. Like hockey,
Crosby's got a concussion today.
NHL is not about those guys that are up-and-comers, the young guys that are going to be the stars in the next century. So, but going back to the John Saunders story, I remember John Saunders probably more for hockey. Towards the later years,
that's where I remember.
I remember him, but then towards the end, I kind of remember him a lot for basketball. Like when they would do ESPN, NBA on ESPN. I don't remember him much for baseball. I don't really remember him a lot for football, but I remember John Saunders mainly for basketball and hockey. But I mean, he's a face that you can't. It's like Stuart Scott. He was the face of ESPN. He was the franchise. 30 years of duties, and I mean, like I said, I did not know about the Jimmy V Foundation, how he was a passionate board member. So he was he was a big deal for cancer research and for cancer.
Very good human being. Lost at a
very young age, 61 years old, very young, and we'll find out more details about his death, but makes you wonder, is probably something sudden like a heart attack or stroke, something like that. But
life is very short and precious.
Yeah.
You gotta live it. Just
very, very, very unfortunate.
It is. It's a shame.
Shifting gears from that loss, we had a different loss of such for a former Detroit Tiger. If you were on Facebook or Twitter today, you might have saw the emotional press conference held by Prince Fielder, who had to announce his retirement from the game of baseball due to a severe neck injury. And, to start off with Prince, this is a guy that played very short, 2 very solid offensive years here. He was never your greatest first baseman, but for Prince Fielder, a lot can go back and look at the 2012
One memory
playoffs.
sticks out in my head.
Yes.
Fielder, and that's it.
The Nacho?
The Nacho.
The Nacho. And that was great because watching a game
and
when
his home runs that went
dude, he had
back and he
him
flipped
and his
the bat across the
him and his daddy probably had one of the most devastating swings in all of baseball. I mean, his power hit. I mean, he would hit the ball and then he would like swing the bat down. I mean, he would crush things. I mean, every home run of his went at least 400 feet. So Prince Fielder, I remember a lot. The last memory I remember about Prince is 2012. I believe
the Nacho.
No,
I remember his playoff performance and then him leaving town.
2012 against, when we got swept by San Francisco, which was very unfortunate. I feel like that was probably our best year to win a World Series. You could say it was 06, but I felt 2012 because you come off the wheels of Miguel Cabrera winning the Triple Crown. Mm-hmm. I believe Verlander, did he win the Cy Young that year or was the year after? I think it was, he won, I think, 20 games that year. But 2012, we were great. And Prince Fielder giving that press conference or that locker room interview after we got swept and basically kind of
he was over it already.
Yeah, he was over it, and that really pissed a lot of fans off, and so that
got him traded for Ian Kinsler. So thank you.
It did, and the trade to this day worked tenfold for us, and of course Texas, who's still good. I mean, Texas is definitely a World Series contending team right now, even without Prince Fielder. But the trade, let's face it, worked way better in our favor. I mean, the production numbers from Prince Fielder as opposed to Prince have been amazing, but. Seeing his press conference today was definitely emotional. He's sitting there, wearing a neck brace, and, he was definitely humbled. This is an injury that humbled a guy that was normally cocky on and off the field. And, you might not like his personality. You might not think he's one of, the most nicest guys. But, Prince Fielder is a guy that I still respect as a person. And this press conference, I'm just going to play a little snippet of it. I mean, he did get emotional, but he was able to thank Detroit. He did thank Detroit and Milwaukee. So let me see if I can pull this up here.
To be a truly great ball player,
of course.
No, I did not see this press conference live. I seen a
picture. It was short. It was only like literally 2 or 3 minutes long, but I'll just play a little snippet here. Hopefully that it will have the right amount of audio here.
Snippet. You with all these old terms today.
Doctors told me since 2 spinal fusions, I gotta. Can't play Major League Baseball anymore. So I just want to thank my teammates, all the coaching staff.
He's ready to lose it, definitely.
Wow.
I'm really miss being around those guys because
tears are like dripping down his face right now.
A lot of fun and. I just been in the big league clubhouse since I was, their age. So it's, to not be able to play is going to be tough. I think Detroit and especially Milwaukee, you know, that's where I started out. You know, that's where everything, you know, that's what got me here. So without those two teams and cities, you know, I wouldn't be here. And even though I know I struggled personally this year, this is actually the most fun I've ever had and the best I ever felt mentally about baseball.
So, I mean, it was nice that he actually was able to thank Detroit. Yeah, acknowledge Detroit, even though it was 2 tumultuous years. I mean, they were still good years. I mean, he hit 30 home runs both times.
Here's the thing about Prince Fielder that stands out in my mind is he has played in each of his stops with another prolific hitter. Milwaukee, it's
Ryan Braun.
With Detroit, it's
Miguel Cabrera.
With Texas, it's
Beltran.
Beltre, not
Beltre.
Beltran.
Yeah. Well, they have Beltran. Yeah,
Beltran's now with the
They have Beltran and Beltre. How hard is that going to be? But yeah, I feel like what stands out to me is the eerie stat that he retires with the exact same amount of home runs as his daddy, Cecil, 319. Now Prince was able to play. He was 32.
Goodness.
Cecil was 35, but Cecil played 2 extra years than he did. So you can say that Prince technically outdid his dad.
Now, if I'm Prince Fielder, and I don't know if they've rekindled their relationship.
I think they have.
I would go back out there and see if I could hit one more home run just so I don't have to.
Who are you? You're saying Cecil?
If I'm Prince.
Oh, Prince?
I try to hit one more.
Just to make it 320 to make it.
I don't have that stat which you just put up there.
But wouldn't that be? I mean, if you were good with your father,
maybe in a couple years he'll look. I don't think he's looked at that. Obviously, that's not in his mind, and it won't be. I'm sure someone will acknowledge
but then you can
that.
Of course, that was the first thing that I saw when I looked at their stats comparing them. That was the first thing I saw. But of course, Cecil played 2 extra years. Now they are also the only father-son duo in Major League history to each hit 50 home runs in a season. Cecil did it with 51 in 1990. Prince with 50. In 2007. So, yeah, both fielders ended their careers with 319 home runs. So,
wow.
And it is a shame because I feel like Prince, before this neck injury, was starting to kind of hit his stride this year. Obviously, last year missed pretty much the entire season when he went down with an injury. And then this year, I think, he was kind of doing okay. His average wasn't up there, but, I mean, his power was still there.
He was struggling.
He still had power.
And he wasn't quite performing up to the expectations, I think, of a lot of the organization with Texas, and I don't think he's quite been healthy his whole time in Texas.
Right.
I really don't think that since the Tigers traded him away. Now that was a great trade for the Tigers.
Oh yeah,
just an absolute miserable trade for Texas.
But who's going to win a World Series first?
That's a very debatable question. Texas has a more.
Just imagine if Texas still had. Just think if Texas still had Ian Kinsler. Eventually, I think they would.
No Odor.
Yeah, they wouldn't have. Yeah, they wouldn't have kept Kinsler around even if they wouldn't have traded him.
Profar.
Yeah,
there's.
They had to make room for him. With that cap, they would never have been able to make it. They would have to get rid of him some way or another. So, Ian Kinsler, even though it would have been great if he was still on the team right now, that team would be running away with their division and the American League. But Kinsler has been a god. We've mentioned this before. Kinsler's been a godsend for the Tigers since becoming a Tiger a couple years ago. So.
But it is really unfortunate that a guy's career is cut short like that in any sport.
He had another 5-6 years left in him.
He did have
no
a
doubt.
lot of time, and you never know. He could have made to the 500 home run club. I don't think that's out of the question if he played. That's unfortunate.
I don't know if he would have got there. I don't think he would have got it. I think he would have probably gotten 450, 475, but I don't know if he would have got 500 because even though he wasn't 100% healthy, I think he wasn't healthy.
Texas is just a launching pad, though.
The last time that he was probably fully healthy was 2012 when he was a Tiger, or 2013. Well, he left in 13.
Let's put it this way: if he stayed healthy his whole tenure with Texas, played out his years in Texas, I think he would have got 500.
Well, he would have still been a Tiger right now because we signed to a 9-year deal. And we're still going to have to pay off some of this money. I was hearing different things. I was hearing that we were going to save $20 million over 4 seasons. Now I'm hearing that we got to pay $24 million of his contract. I thought once you retire, it kind of becomes like a null and void deal. Like you get money back when they retire because they don't play. I don't know how that's going to work.
That's something you'd have to do more.
I could have swore I saw that they were going to save. It was Jason Beck or somebody that reported
Tigers
it.
Writers.
Yeah, they're usually pretty spot on about their facts. So, I'll have to look more deeper into that, but I could have swore it said we were going to save money in the Prince Fielder deal.
I'm sure Texas and Detroit both will get hit for his.
Oh, Texas, I think will. Oh, Texas will definitely.
Detroit will probably get hit with a little bit. Texas will get the majority of his salary.
So, okay, I got it right here. So Tigers still on hook for Prince Fielder. This was posted by the Detroit News a couple hours ago. Let's see here. Yeah, because he still owed on the mammoth 9-year, $214 million contract he signed with the Tigers prior to the 2012 season. Fielder is still owed about $104 million through the 2020 season, with the Tigers responsible for about $24 million of that as part of the terms of the field. So we have to pay 24 of that 104. So he's not obviously going to get the full off deal. So to pay him $24 million while he's sitting at home, probably gaining weight, that's all I can think about. Is Prince is a big guy already playing the game? Imagine how much weight he's going to put on by being retired.
I'm not going to go into that right now. I feel bad for his whole neck injury that cost him his career. It's
unfortunate. But, hey, shit happens. It's baseball, and it happens. So
there's a lot of careers that got cut short.
Yeah. I respect, like I said, though, I respect Prince Fielder. It sucks when you get when you get humbled like that. You never like to see somebody cry. Like,
you want your career to go out
I think
you want it to go out, like David Ortiz is doing.
I probably feel more bad for Prince than I do for, say, A-Rod.
And A-Rod's hanging it up on Friday.
And it's going to be nationally televised. Not many people. I know Boston's already said, we're not honoring him. They honored Derek Jeter, but I think Derek Jeter was a more respected player.
Derek Jeter was in the middle of the dagger that was that rivalry every single season.
A-Rod really kind of got a late start, but at the same time, A-Rod has not played this game clean his entire career. Derek Jeter did. So Derek Jeter was, I think, twice as more respected.
Derek Jeter was hated in Boston, but everybody
respected. Yeah, he was just like Detroit. I hated Derek Jeter as a player.
He's that guy that you respect, though.
But Derek Jeter was a guy. He was never a bad guy. Yeah, he's a hometown boy who should have always been a Tiger. If you look at it, hometown boy, you loved for him to play in Detroit.
You would have loved for him to
I think he would have made this team better. I feel like we wouldn't have seen a 119 loss season if Derek Jeter was in Tigers uniform.
No,
but
I don't believe so.
We'll leave that up for imagination, but
that's all you can do.
Yeah, in that case. But yeah, a guy like Jeter I respected, and a guy like Prince I respect. The baseball player Prince Fielder, maybe not so much, but the person I do respect. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but you know what? Best wishes to him. Best wishes to him.
Heal up and have a good time with his kids. Maybe I know he's got some young kids, so I know that'll be good for him to be around his kids instead of being away every single season.
Right.
So that's good for him in a way, but I know he didn't want to exactly hang it up quite yet. But
it's part of the game.
I guess it is. It's very fragile, and you'd think that'd be more football. You go into each game thinking it could be your last, but baseball as well.
I feel like the sport, probably out of the top 4 sports, I think football is probably the one where your career can end more abruptly. Just one good hit.
One good hit and you're done.
We've seen guys from football retire at like 21 before their careers even start.
Just last season.
One practice it can happen. We've seen guys retire. Some guys can play till they're 40 in football. Some can play till they're only like 25. Football is probably the most physically demanding sport. Next, I would probably, of course, have to say hockey. Then probably basketball, then baseball. Baseball is a sport that is grinding, but I feel like it's less physically demanding than the other 3 sports. That's just how I feel. But, but kudos to Prince Fielder for going out somewhat on top, and, best of luck for whatever he does. I'm sure we'll see him probably in the broadcast booth.
Possibly.
Probably, be on Fox or something like that.
Frank Thomas.
Frank
Thomas kind of is in the broadcast booth. I'm not sure, the 2 Hall of Famers, Piazza and Griffey, I don't believe. I know Griffey's doing some stuff with the Seattle Mariners organization. I don't know if Piazza's doing
his numbers all over the field, all over Safeco.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
The tale of 24s.
Absolutely stunning.
We both had good taste in number 24s, definitely. Sure. All right, so that was pretty much what was on our agenda for tonight. Was there anything we wanted to discuss, anything further?
I'll lay this out there. Entertainment, because we haven't really...
we won't talk WWE news. It's been
not going to go into WWE.
Raw,
I am disgusted with WWE.
Whoa.
Raw is absolutely a disgrace. SmackDown's a disgrace. WWE
based
garbage,
off a show, all right,
absolutely terrible.
SmackDown will never out Trump Raw as far as an overall show. But the product that was put out this week, if you look at both Raw and SmackDown, I will give Raw the F. I will give SmackDown the C. And SmackDown gets a C only because I feel like their show, for who they had there, because they lost, and I knew that SmackDown was going to be really, really bad this week because Cena wasn't going to be there, Styles wasn't going to be there. They lost a lot of guys to overseas booking. But if you watch SmackDown, you didn't watch it. I watched SmackDown the whole show, and honestly, I feel like I can actually stay in touch with SmackDown because it is only 2 hours. I think Raw needs to go back to 2. It needs to go to 2 because SmackDown, I feel like
Raw has to have 2 or 3 squash matches.
It wasn't. SmackDown don't have time for that. SmackDown is actually more wrestling, but they also have good promo work. I mean, it felt like an old Raw from the old days, a 2-hour Raw that went exactly 2 hours, and you still were able to have like 5-6 matches on a 2-hour show and promos and stuff. But one thing that I noticed, 2 things I noticed about SmackDown last night was that, number one, it was more edgier. We got to see a little minor purpose wardrobe malfunction for Eva Marie. They have this angle going on with Eva Marie where she is now getting either hurt or she has anything imaginable can happen to her to avoid facing Becky Lynch. So she's playing like the role of a heel without doing anything besides, like last week she got hurt during her entrance. Who does that? This week she purposely took off her top and made it fall down, and she's grabbing her boobs and asking the ref to throw her a towel, and she left the ring. So then Becky Lynch gets all pissed off, and then Alexa Bliss came out, beat Becky, and then, you know, Eva Marie comes out and says, oh, you know, I had an unfortunate thing happen, wardrobe malfunction, but I'll be ready to go next week. I think WWE's trying to put off having her wrestle for as long as they can to piss off the fans. To me, this is a genius idea.
It is.
I like it. As much as because this is what will get you the cheapest of heat, is by not competing and trying to avoid facing the baby faces, because that's what fans hate. And I feel like WWE knows that they've got something here because Eva Marie's already hated without even wrestling.
She's got that organic heat.
She does, but she's so gorgeous. And if you're any straight guy, why you would boo her is beyond me. But I guess girls like her come a dime a dozen, and I get it. And then, of course, the other thing that I noticed was, aside from the edgier contact, was the bullying. And we saw there was a segment, backstage segment with Baron Corbin bullying Kalisto and shoving him to the ground, and I liked it because
that's not right, though. WWE's PG.
That's why I liked it, because it was a little bit old school. And the Spotlight Facebook page, which is a wrestling forum on Facebook, they pointed this out. Ooh, SmackDown getting a little edgy this week. I liked it.
Now you took over wrestling, so I'll bring this to attention. Since I did not watch wrestling and you did not see Suicide Squad, so I won't spoil anything.
No spoilers, because I will see this movie.
This is a movie now.
Give your overall out of 10.
Horrible critics reviews that those people should lose their jobs because
it was not
this
horrible.
Movie was not horrible,
but it wasn't great.
Not enough Joker, but I understand why.
You're not going to compete with Heath Ledger. Let's be honest.
Jared Leto was good. Not great.
How many out of 5 stars with the Joker? Because Heath Ledger's 5 out of 5. What are you going to give this?
I'm going to give him a 3 out of 5 for now.
That's a B.
But that is hyping what's going to happen in future movies because he's going to have a bigger role in future movies. Oh, absolutely.
And I already know, and I could already figure this out. They're going to have probably going to have a Batman vs. Joker movie with Ben Affleck and Jared Leto. Yes.
And they're also going to have a big, DC.
Harley Quinn's going to have her own movie. Yes. They're going to do exactly what they did with the Avengers. They're all going to have a solo movie.
Yes.
Which we talked about this. We talked about this. So overall, you'll give Suicide Squad what, a 7 out of 10? 8 out, I think we said 8 out of 10.
I would say 8 out of 10. Yeah.
That's pretty high and it's still breaking box office records for the month of August. Now, it's not quite. It's already eclipsed, I think, the $250 million mark. I mean, this is probably going to gross about $400 or $500 million. But I was one of those people that thought, like, after reading the critics and even listening to like Dave and Chuck, and
that's your problem.
You got to go into it with
go on there,
low expectations.
Read Rotten Tomatoes and you read all these other forum sites. Don't do that. And then you go into the movie and you're like, oh, this sucks.
But you want to go into it with you can't go into a movie with high expectations. I mean, God knows I found that out with Dumb and Dumber 2. It was not a good idea.
And you can't go in there with the fact that Heath Ledger's always going to be the Joker.
No. But a guy at work was a guy at work was a little bit more harsh on the Joker because he felt like he had a lot of sexual tendencies. He didn't like the grill. He didn't like all the tattoos on him. I think he said the best scene was when he was like laying on like knives and.
I told you that.
Well, he said that too. You told me that, and he said that too.
I told you that on Monday night.
That was a good scene, but other than that, he said it was very, very underwhelming performance.
No, I don't think there was any homo scenes.
I mean, I can see him playing more of like a.
This Joker was perceived to be more street-oriented, thuggish.
He was very emo-ish.
Tattoos.
Very emo
really
looking.
Skinny.
Yes. He did lose a lot of weight for that role.
Interesting laugh. I don't know if I'm sold on the laugh yet, but it wasn't bad.
I've not heard his laugh. The only thing I've seen of him talking was in the trailer when he was like, it's going to be really, really bad. Or whatever. I'm going to hurt you or whatever. Do you remember him, who he was talking to?
Harley Quinn.
Was it Harley Quinn?
and if I continue to go on, I'll spoil a certain scene.
I want to look for his laugh because that's not spoiling anything as far as I'm concerned.
No, that's in the. You can see that right on TV.
I haven't heard his laugh.
If you see any kind of preview, it's.
I honestly, I've not heard the Jared Leto Joker laugh. I must have been out of
Harley Quinn and Deadshot, absolutely great movie for them two both, respectively. They were the stars in this movie. Jared Leto, the Joker, was not. Will Smith did a good job as Deadshot.
Deadshot, I heard, and that's what somebody at work said. He said it was mostly a Harley Quinn and Deadshot movie. I mean, Joker is perceived a lot in the trailer, but not on the film. So here's Jared Leto's Joker laugh. I want to hear this. It's only 4 seconds. That just seems very anything. I mean,
go see the movie Thursday, Friday.
It sounds like
whatever.
A deep voice. He's got a big mouth. Obviously, his teeth, his grill, but he's got no eyebrows.
Now, before you start harshly criticizing the
I'm
movie,
not.
Go see it.
I will, because I want to join the trio. I want to give you my feedback. I want to give my buddy at work feedback because you both have different opinions. Your opinions on the Joker seem different, but the movie itself, he said it wasn't bad. He gave it a 7 out of 10. You gave it 8. I feel like I'll probably be in the same boat.
You'll love Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Well, Margot Robbie is gorgeous. We saw her in the Leonardo DiCaprio.
Tarzan. She's also in Tarzan.
She was also in the Leonardo DiCaprio
Interstellar, or not Interstellar,
No.
but in
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
She did a sex scene in that movie, if I'm not mistaken. So Margot Robbie is gorgeous, but I'm all about the storyline. I'm the first one to say I am not. The only person that I like out of DC is Batman. I am more of a Marvel overall person. You said you're DC, but you also told me you're because of Batman.
I like Batman. I like Spawn. I like Flash.
Joker.
I like Arrow. I like Joker. Yeah.
But then when it goes to Marvel, I like Iron Man. I like Spider-Man.
I'm Spider-Man. I don't really care that much for Iron Man.
I don't like Superman. That's why I don't like DC that much. But I like the Avengers. I enjoy the Avengers probably more than I would enjoy the Suicide Squad. But I want to see them both and compare them. But we've seen what happened. I mean, Avengers grossed way more money than Suicide Squad. So it makes you wonder. I think there are more Marvel fans out there. Spider-Man has grossed more money, than, and then you got Iron Man. They've made 3. So Marvel is more popular with fans than DC is. But as far as individual superheroes, Batman trumps them all. So that's why I picked.
Absolutely the king of the castle.
Well, yeah. Batman came out first. It was between him and Superman before, like when the comics were coming out. I feel like Batman was in the 40s, right?
Maybe even earlier than that.
So
I don't have that on record, but Batman is always king for me. Batman is always
Bob Kane.
Bob Kane, yeah. There's been so many different Batmans. There's been so many different Jokers.
Incarnations of them.
Go see this movie.
I will.
Have an open mindset.
Screw it, dude. Let's just go see it. Let's go see it Friday or something. Let's go to State Wayne. We'll pay like $5 for it.
Really? Oh.
Well, I mean, I don't think that. I'm sure Steve and Alex are probably going to go see it together on a date or something. So I mean, hell, why don't we just go see it? You said you'd see it again.
I was good enough to see again.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it because it's not like I'm going to have anything going on Friday night.
We'll see.
All right. We'll get back to you on that.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, 8 out of 10, not bad. All right. So anything else we want to talk about? Or this is going to be probably a pretty short show. I like this. I feel like, we don't have hockey to talk about. We don't have any football to talk about, other than the Hall of Fame game getting canceled last weekend. That's the NFL. And that was a joke by the NFL. That's going to really lose them some brownie points. Let me tell you.
The NFL.
That's never happened, I don't think, before.
The NFL's just a joke. Yep. Roger Goodell, there you go.
Yep. But other than that, I think we pretty much wrapped everything up. We covered everything on topic tonight, and this was a pretty damn good show. So with that, I think I'm going to call this one a podcast. We'll clink our glasses together. Got a little bit water left.
Nicholas Lidstrom.
Nicholas Lindstrom. I got Lindstrom.
I got Brett Hall.
Lindstrom and
Brendan Shanahan, who is now a Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a Leaf.
This is the leadership right here, though. This is some of the best defensemen in all of hockey right there. So on that note, we're going to call this one a show. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And I guess until next week, guys, have a good week and enjoy the Olympics. Go Team USA.
Go USA.